It's hard to find fashion designers and industry insiders having honest conversations about fashion. Maybe there are reasons for this: not wanting to offend your current employer and risk losing your current job, not wanting to offend past employers and risk losing those contacts and networks, not wanting to speak negatively about the fashion industry and discourage others from pursuing it, and maybe thinking that it's just you having a hard time in the industry and everyone else must just be killing it, right? Whatever the reason, I can guarantee you that the last one isn't true. You're not alone, I'm not alone, and the Successful Fashion Designer podcast is proof. Heidi hosts this awesome podcast where fashion industry professionals have really honest conversations. I'm talking brutally honest conversations about the industry, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's amazing to hear this. If you're new to the fashion industry and want to learn more from insiders, you'll want to listen to this podcast. There's a lot of good advice for those starting out in the industry. Or if you're already an industry insider and want to learn more about specific niches in the industry, it's also very useful. For example, I've been a fashion designer for almost 10 years now. I've worked in USA and internationally for brands, and I've started my own brand. But there's one thing I haven't done much of, which is freelancing. I'm interested in learning more about remote fashion design freelancing, and there are a few good podcast episodes that cover this topic, where Heidi interviews a few freelance pros. I recently listened to episode 35, How to Build Your Career as a Contract Fashion Designer and Work from Home, and episode 16, How to Get Freelance Fashion Design Jobs Using Upwork. The Mailbag episodes are a great addition to the podcast. Heidi takes a handful of listener questions and answers them in these episodes. I like hearing listener questions because some of them are my questions as well, and it's just interesting to hear what conversations are happening right now in fashion design. These Mailbag episodes are like an advice column, kind of like Dear Abby, but in a podcast and specifically for fashion designers. One listener wrote in saying she works for a company that doesn't treat her super well, no benefits, and has a long commute. She got an interview at a design company much closer to her home, but she feels guilty quitting her current company that, in her words, hasn't really treated me the best, and wonders if she owes them anything. I found myself thinking, you don't owe them anything, you deserve better, find a company that appreciates you. Like I said, it's like Dear Abby, but instead of intimate relationships, the focus is business relationships and design. If you have questions, you can send them into Heidi and she might answer them in a Mailbag episode. Some other topics you can expect to learn about are fashion startup business, when should you quit your day job, fashion startup advice, designing, manufacturing, and selling your own designs, surface pattern design, creating art from music, fashion showrooms, are they right for your brand, fashion design career advice, 10 easy networking tips you can use today to get ahead. Heidi and I had a conversation about a year ago. You can check out my interview with Heidi linked below in the description. I talk about overall my experience in the fashion industry, including tips on pursuing fashion design as a second career, the difference between working for mass market compared to luxury brands, design job creativity and lack of, and the general notions about fashion design compared to the reality of it as a career. I'll link my episode below so you can check it out. But for real, check out the whole podcast. There are so many great episodes with knowledgeable, seasoned fashion industry professionals. If you have questions about the industry, I'll bet a lot of them have already been answered in this podcast. Comment below and let me know what you think of the podcast. Check it out. Join the conversation with myself and with Heidi so that we can form a community of fashion designers.